Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy, the charming law student who led a double life as a sadistic killer, used his charm and intelligence to become a master manipulator. He confessed to 30 homicides, but the actual number remains unknown. His story is a haunting reminder that monsters can hide in plain sight. He escaped from custody twice, using his wit and charm to evade authorities, only to continue his killing spree, which spanned several states. His final capture in Florida led to a highly publicized trial, where he acted as his own defense attorney, further showcasing his narcissistic personality. Bundy was executed in 1989, leaving behind a legacy of horror. His court appearances drew large crowds, with many people fascinated by his audacity and craftiness. Even in prison, Bundy remained manipulative, offering to help police catch other serial killers to delay his execution. The Milwaukee Cannibal. Jeffrey Dahmer earned the nickname the Milwaukee Cannibal. Dahmer's gruesome crimes included necrophilia, cannibalism, and preserving body parts. His fascination with the macabre began in childhood and escalated to the horrific murders of 17 young men. His story is a chilling tale of unchecked urges and horror. Dahmer's apartment was a house of horrors filled with Polaroids of his victims and body parts stored in various states of preservation. His calm demeanor during his trial left many in shock and disbelief. Dahmer was eventually beaten to death by a fellow inmate in 1994, bringing an end to his nightmarish legacy. His case highlighted the failures of the criminal justice system, as he was released by police after being briefly detained with a victim. Dahmer's chilling confession tapes, where he described his actions in detail, continue to horrify those who listen. The Killer Clown. John Wayne Gacy, who was also known as the Killer Clown, entertained children as Pogo the Clown by day and committed heinous crimes by night. Gacy lured young men to his home, where he tortured and killed them, burying many in his crawl space. He was convicted of 33 murders, making him one of the most prolific serial killers in U.S. history. Gacy's outward appearance as a community man and party entertainer masked his monstrous deeds. His execution in 1994 was met with mixed emotions, but for many, it was a relief that such a predator was no longer a threat. His case highlighted the importance of background checks and community vigilance. Even after his death, Gacy's paintings and memorabilia continue to evoke a morbid fascination among true crime enthusiasts. The Night Stalker. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, terrorized Los Angeles in the mid-1980s. His spree included home invasions, murders, and sexual assaults. Ramirez's fascination with Satanism and his chilling courtroom behavior added to his infamy. His capture involved a neighborhood chase, demonstrating community power in stopping evil. Ramirez showed no remorse for his crimes, often smiling and waving at cameras during his trial. Sentenced to death, he spent years on death row before dying of complications related to B-cell lymphoma in 2013. His story remains one of the most terrifying in modern history. Ramirez's unsettling ability to enter homes undetected led to widespread fear and heightened security measures across the city. Even after his death, his case continues to be a subject of fascination and study in criminology and psychology. Ed Gein. Ed Gein, the inspiration for horror icons like Norman Bates and Leatherface, was more of a grave robber than a serial killer, but his crimes were no less shocking. He exhumed corpses to create trophies and keepsakes from their skin and bones. His twisted actions left a lasting impact on pop culture. Gein's obsession with his deceased mother and his grotesque hobbies shocked the nation when discovered. Though only convicted of 2 murders, the extent of his gruesome activities made him a legendary figure in the annals of true crime. Gein died in a mental institution in 1984. His story has inspired numerous books, films, and TV shows, cementing his place in horror lore. The sheer grotesqueness of his crimes has made him a subject of morbid fascination for true crime enthusiasts. Despite his notoriety, Gein was known to be a quiet and unassuming man in his community, making his actions all the more disturbing. Henry Howard Holmes. Henry Howard Holmes, also known as H.H. Holmes, America's first documented serial killer, built a murder castle in Chicago during the 1893 World's Fair. The hotel was designed with trapdoors, secret passages, and soundproof rooms to carry out his gruesome experiments and murders. Holmes confessed to 27 murders, though the actual number is believed to be higher. Holmes was a cunning and calculating criminal, using various aliases and scams to cover his tracks. His trial was a media sensation, captivating the public with tales of his macabre activities. Holmes was hanged in 1896, but the legend of his murder castle endures. The building itself was a labyrinth designed to confuse and trap his victims, making escape nearly impossible. Holmes was also a prolific con artist, engaging in insurance fraud and other schemes to fund his deadly activities. The exact number of his victims remains a mystery, adding to the dark allure of his story. Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper, the unidentified killer who terrorized London's Whitechapel district in 1888, remains one of the most famous serial killers. The Ripper's brutal murders of at least 5 women, all prostitutes, sparked a media frenzy and numerous theories about his identity, which remains a mystery to this day. The case has inspired countless books, movies, and conspiracy theories. The Ripper's ability to evade capture and the gruesome nature of the crimes have cemented his place in history as a symbol of unsolved mystery and horror. Despite numerous suspects over the years, including famous figures like Lewis Carroll and Prince Albert Victor, no conclusive evidence has ever been found. The letters purportedly sent by the Ripper to the police, some signed Jack the Ripper, added to the sensationalism and fear surrounding the case. The enduring fascination with Jack the Ripper continues to captivate and horrify people around the world to this day. The Zodiac Killer. The Zodiac Killer is another unidentified murderer who haunted Northern California in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Known for taunting the police and media with cryptic messages and ciphers, the Zodiac claimed responsibility for multiple murders. Despite numerous suspects, the Zodiac's true identity remains unknown. The case has baffled investigators and amateur sleuths alike for decades. The Zodiac's ability to leave clues yet remain hidden has made him a figure of enduring fascination and fear. His last confirmed letter was received in 1974, leaving the case cold but not forgotten. His boldness in contacting the media directly added a chilling layer to his crimes, creating a media frenzy. Despite advancements in forensic science, the Zodiac Killer's true identity continues to elude law enforcement, adding to the enigma of his legend. Charles Manson. Charles Manson was the cult leader who convinced his followers to carry out brutal murders, including the infamous Tate killings. Manson's charismatic manipulation led to the deaths of 7 people in 1969. His influence and the horrific nature of the crimes left an indelible mark on American history. Manson's ominous beliefs and his control over the Manson family made him a symbol of the dark side of the 1960s counterculture. He spent the rest of his life in prison, where he continued to attract a strange sort of infamy until his death in 2017. The bizarre and gruesome nature of the murders, particularly of actress Sharon Tate, shocked the nation and forever altered the public's perception of the peace and love movement. Manson's trial was a spectacle, with his followers displaying unflinching loyalty, further cementing his infamy. His legacy is a haunting reminder of the destructive power of charismatic leadership and blind devotion. Manson became a figure of fascination, drawing media attention through his complex personality, both delusional and eerily articulate. He often spoke of apocalyptic visions, claiming to predict a race war he called helter-skelter. Despite his heinous actions, some fans romanticized his image, leading to a cult of personality that persisted long after his crimes. Manson's unpredictable behavior and manipulative charm captivated audiences, inspiring books, films, and countless discussions about his life and influence. His story serves as a chilling reminder of how one man's vision can spiral into chaos, forever changing the lives of many. Manson's life illustrates the complexities of evil, prompting ongoing debates about the nature of crime, responsibility, and the darker aspects of human psychology.